Pablo Gunner again for the third TNTM the show lore. I'm going to go into comics this time, okay? In my younger years, I was into comics. The earliest comics I remember reading were Spider-Man. I want to say 2099, but I don't think that was it. He was just like it was. All I remember is that it was very futuristic looking. The image that comes to my head is the image of Spider-Man 2099 or Spider-Man Unlimited. Actually, that's the one that comes to mind. Spider-Man Unlimited, which was kind of like the spin-off of the 90s animated Spider-Man animated show. And then the other one was Superman Blue, where he was in the blue. Yeah, there was the blue and the red, but I specifically remember reading the blue one. It was after the death of Superman, which was epic, and I was like, I have to get into comics. I have to read comics. Now, I don't remember reading them for long. That's the thing is comics are an expensive habit, and when you don't have a lot of money or you're told that you don't have a lot of money, you don't keep up with that stuff, right? Like it's a very expensive habit, and unless you have a lot of money and a lot of time, it's really hard to keep up with because they come out every week, every Wednesday, but they usually do it monthly, right? Like sometimes they don't put them out every week for like, oh, there's a new issue for each comic, each title every week. And comics have changed so much since the 90s. Well, I mean, throughout every decade, they've changed so much. My personal favorite era of comics is the Chris Claremont X-Men comics, personally. And I've read them to my kids, and I do the voices, and they love it, and I love it. And I love doing like little voice work and stuff and characters, and it's so great. And that's what I love the most. I really do. Like, really, when it comes down to it, what I really love the most is X-Men. I love X-Men more than absolutely anything. And I love X-Men because I've always felt like an X-Men. And when I say that, I mean I've always felt like an outsider. As someone who has grown up to be Hispanic and white, or Latino and Caucasian, I don't know. But let's break it down. Mexican and Irish, Native American, and then you break down all the little categories all you want, right? Which I've shown before. Which is I never really felt like I fit in with Hispanics because there's the Hispanics that know Spanish and then will shame you for not knowing Spanish, and then they will make fun of your Spanish when you try to speak Spanish. So then you feel discouraged to speak Spanish, okay? And then you're clearly, because of my last name and being slightly darker, especially because in my younger years, I spent a lot of time out in the sun. Like, I was always in a pool, I was always outside. It was the 80s, it was the 90s. We spent a lot of time outside. And so I was dark. I was dark when I was younger. And so, being that I was dark and had a Spanish last name, I didn't really fit in with white people. But I did fit in with black people, and I did fit in with nerds. Nerds were always accepting because whether it be Star Trek, Star Wars, Power Rangers, whatever, there's always diversity, especially in the X-Men. You have people that are blue, purple, orange, green. There's so much diversity, and they were not judged amongst each other for what they looked like physically. And personally, my favorite was the Fuzzy Blue Elf, the Incredible Nightcrawler. He goes by different, the Amazing, the Uncanny Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner. And I love the German accent. And like that episode of his, I could watch that a million times over. And it's so, so good. And I was all, if I when I, in my younger years, I was a very devout Catholic boy. So I also related to Kurt Wagner in that way as well, because that's so many powerful messages in that episode of the X-Men animated cartoon when they find or come across Nightcrawler, and especially with Wolverine. And I mean, still to this day, I'm very, very spiritual. I won't say I'm religious. They were called freaks. They were called muties. And then, two, like Beast being so smart and his little quips and everything like that. I was like, this guy's so smart, and he's praised for it by his group, by his peers, and I just loved it. Where he's like, the only prison of the is the prison of the mind, and he's reading like the Once and Future King. He has all these quotes that are just from brilliant books, right? And I'm like, I need to read these books because this dude's brilliant, and I want to be brilliant like him. And to this day, I'm still like, I want to read the books that Beast would be reading. That's what I always gravitated towards the most. And because, like I said, I didn't fit in except for amongst specific people. And one of those people was Marvin Goof. Early on in our young years, we have been friends since elementary school. And we've both been nerds into Star Trek and Star Wars and always connected and related in that way. And that's why our bond is so strong. And no matter if we haven't talked or seen each other for however long, we pick up right where we left off. And it's like there was no time lost. It's beautiful. And so when you find those friendships like that, you gotta hang on to them. And that's also something that I've tried to make an integral part of TNTM the show, which is I've tried to use it as a tool to keep in touch with people that I have made connection with along the years. And so that was just something in the elementary years, my elementary school years and stuff, especially because, like, the Spider-Man animated cartoon, and you had Justice League, and you had Batman, and you had Superman, and all those, and it was just like the greatest time to be alive and to be a nerd and to be a kid and just enjoy kids stuff. And it was so high quality, and they didn't dumb it down for us. It was so top quality. So speaking of top quality, check out our merch. TNTM the store. Love this stuff that I've designed. Check it out. I'm going to be throwing it out. It's going to be mostly Marvel stuff on the month for Enero, January. So 5% of any profit that we make off our merch goes to a charity for the month. So uh, help us help a charity by buying merch. And yeah, so thank you for watching and listening, my fellow nerds and amigos, and see you on the next one.